VCR, 4-head VCR, 19 micron head. Just one? Oh, that would be bad. Auto clock set. So this is a Sanyo DVW7100 in the original Sanyo box. Take a look at that. But maybe that's not what's inside. I've been burned before. So let's go ahead and open this thing up and see what is inside of this box. All right, let's get this box open up and see what's inside here. And we have a note. I'll save that in a moment. And that's not a Sanyo. It's packed very well, though. Yeah. Wow, this thing is packed really, really good. That's a ZV457 Magnavox. That's not a freaking Sanyo. Hello. All right, let's get this up on the bench and take a look at it. Even has a remote. Well, that certainly is a Magnavox ZV457. And I know that because it has the standard definition tuner built into it. And it does actually say ZV457 right there. And there is a note. Let's take a look at the note. Steve, I talked to you via email a couple of weeks ago about this Magnavox ZV457MG9A recorder player. The DVD side works great in play and record functions. The VHS side does not work so well. It loads fine, then seems to shut down, meaning the red power indicator light goes out and all functions stop. Sometimes by pressing the power button, the player will start and eject the VHS tape. Other times, the unit will display power for a few seconds, then shut off again. If this happens several times, if I push the power button, then immediately push the source button to DVD the unit, will then eject the VHS tape, then stay functional for DVD actions. Select VHS function, all is okay until you load a tape, then problem repeats itself. The VHS motors all seem to work properly as it does load and advance the tape when it will rewind and eject the tape. Sometimes I have to play an entire tape, but that has been a while. I have watched a few of your videos on these Magnavox units and believe you to be correct in replacing all capacitors on these units. I believe the function switch is not working properly as well. Please do what you can, as I have a large library of VHS tapes that I enjoy. Return to Curtis, 8WS, Ogden, Utah, 84. Email 4@juno.com or text me 8355. Obviously, some of the information right there has been redacted. Well, let's get the top off, plug this in, and see what happens. All right, here we go. Power on. We'll hit the power button. There it goes. Okay, let's pop a tape in it and see what it's going to do. No monitor connected at this time. Just going to pop a tape into it and see what happens. Oh, mode select switch issue. Yep, that's what it looks like. Because what should happen is the tape should go in, set down, pause for a brief moment. The cylinder should spin up and then it should start to load the tape. Let's try it one more time. Just like that. And it's still trying to load and it shut down. So that is very, very indicative of a mode select switch issue. I'm going to go ahead and put some marks on the loading motor right here, just so it makes it easier for you guys to see. I'll eject the tape out of the unit. And I'll zoom in and we'll try to power it up one more time. Okay, here we go. Tape in. Watch the loading motor right here. And it's still trying to load. It's 100% loaded. It's still trying to load. That tells me the mode select switch is oxidized. Power back on. It should try to eject the tape. Now, here's the thing. If I keep trying this over and over, it will actually clean the mode select switch enough to work And I use my finger quotes here, temporarily. Let's quit playing around, tear this thing apart, and clean the mode select switch. So I know I've shown this before, how to disassemble this unit. I'm not going to do it this time. Remove these 3 screws, pop the front panel off, take the cross brace off, unclip the front panel at the bottom right here. It'll come off. Be very cautious. There is a ribbon cable that connects these 3, actually 4 jacks, the S video, separated video, not super video, the separated video and the composite video from the main board. So you have to be very, very careful removing that ribbon cable. 4 screws for the DVD player. Unplug these 2 ribbon cables, and in the case of a 457, unplug this 1 cable, which addresses the ATSC digital tuner right here. This board's got to come out. DVD player lifts off. You can gain access to the power supply. You'll have to unplug the power supply. Several screws around the extremity of the VCR unit, and then the whole mechanism will actually lift out of the main board. Then 2 screws on the bottom, which I will show. I don't want you to get those screws mixed up. One is machine thread, one is plastic thread. So I'll cut back at that time. Okay, so I've got the chassis out of the case, and this is what I want to stress to you. These 2 screws right there, and the other one that's hidden under this ribbon cable. This one is a fine thread machine screw, as you can see right there, very fine threads. Now on this side, just be very, very careful. Fold this cable up and kind of out of the way, just like that. You can see the screw right there. That one is a coarse thread like a wood screw. Do not get these things mixed up. So now that I've got it to this point right here, I can kind of flip this up like this. And then I can separate the 2 halves just like that. And open the mode select switch right there. Just to lift up on the tab. And then, wow. Is there even contacts in there? Holy crap, let me zoom in on that. Oh my God, that thing is totally oxidized. I mean, I can just barely see traces right there. Just barely, holy moly. That's got to be one of the worst ones I've ever seen. Well, let's go ahead and get the stainless toothbrush out. Maybe a little bit of silver right there on the side. But yeah, definitely one of the worst ones that I have ever seen on one of these units. So we'll get the stainless toothbrush out and we'll go ahead and give this thing a shine. Clean it with acetone, apply some dielectric grease to it, and I'm almost guaranteeing you this is going to solve 100% of the customer's issues. Well, all I can see so far is what a difference. Now, there are 2 schools of philosophy on this switch. One of them is try to get it as smooth as possible. And I use the school of let's keep it rough because it's actually going to help clean the contacts as it moves. But that's just me. I mean, there's several different answers to a possible problem. This is the one that I chose to use. I try to keep it as rough as possible so that as the contacts slide, it actually creates just a slight bit of friction and cleans these things as it goes. Okay, time for some acetone and some dielectric grease. Okay, acetone going in. You don't have to worry about these on the Funai Symphonic units or the Magnavox units, rebranded, because the acetone will not eat this plastic at all. There it is. That looks great compared to the black switch we started with. What a difference. I'm just going to rub these contacts in one direction only. Then I'll wipe them off with the acetone once again. Make sure they're nice and shiny. Look at that. You can see the shiny points on each one. Okay, let's add some dielectric grease to the mode select switch. Mate these two halves back together. Run it around a few times, and I think this thing is going to be good once again. Now I am going to use a cotton swab for this. Just a regular Q-tip to dab this around. It might leave just a couple of strands behind, but I'm really not too worried about that in the least. So all the metal surfaces are coated with dielectric grease to keep oxidation away. The same thing on this side. I'm just going to go ahead and dab a little bit of grease on each contact, and then we'll mate the two halves back together. So just put the two halves together, press down, they'll lock into place. Just to distribute the grease around, run it around each direction 20 or 30 times. Let's take a look at it now. I'm very happy with those results. Snap it back together. Keep in mind, align this post right here with that circle on the silkscreen part of the circuit board. And that's what's going to line up. The mode select switch gear post goes through there, and this post goes through the mode select gear. So let's bring the two halves back together. I doubt I'll be able to show you the mating of the two halves, but I will certainly try. There we go. Post goes in the center, and it just goes together just like that. Back to the bottom, remember the machine thread screw goes in this side. Just like that. The coarse thread screw goes underneath the ribbon cable. Just fold it back just a little tiny bit. Just like that. Now they bring this down and they fold it over just like that. Okay, ready to go. Put this thing back together. I am going to go ahead and pull the prism out of this unit. I'm going to clean the infrared emitter and detector, as well as the entrance and take-up infrared receivers. And just because I have this thing out and I can gain access to the Suscon 4700 microfarad 6.3 volt cap, I'm going to go ahead and replace that cap. And as you can see, an 85 degrees Celsius cap is in this unit, and it's going to get replaced with a Nichicon 4700 microfarad 6.3 volt cap that is rated at 105 degrees Celsius. Much higher quality than the cheap Chinese Suscon cap that's in there right now. Alright, main filter cap has been changed. Nichicon cap is in there, and I did go ahead and replace these two 220 microfarad caps as well, because I've had issues with those and they did test just a little bit high. They are Intercon caps, once again along the same line as the Suscon caps. So power supply board is ready to go back in this unit, and we'll go ahead and give it a test. I will clean the VHS unit, I'll clean the DVD pickup, but I think everything else is going to be fine. The customer had no complaints with the DVD unit whatsoever. He said it did record and play perfectly. Okay, everything is all back together. Let's go ahead and power this thing on. Hit the power button. The LED light does light up. Let's pop a tape into it and see what's going to happen. And as you can see, the loading motor did stop. Let's hit play. And it is playing. Let's give it about 10 seconds and see if it does shut down. Although I did clean the prism, the infrared emitter, the rear rotation detector, as well as the take-up and the supply infrared receivers over here. And I'm going to say that's good. All right, so next I'm going to go ahead and pop a recorded VHS tape into this unit. I'll put a blank DVD -R into the DVD drive, and we'll try to make a copy, make sure it copies and plays back successfully. Well, I thought everything was going to be good, but then I went ahead and put a tape into this unit and I get a snowy picture on playback. So let me show you what I think is going on with this unit. I thought I might have destroyed one of the heads, cleaned it with cotton swabs, but nope, that's not the case. So these are the rotary transformer windings right here that conduct from the video heads right there. One head, two heads, three heads, four heads, one hi-fi head, one hi-fi head. So looking at this unit, I've determined that this first ring right here is one of the video heads. Second ring is the other video head. Third ring, other video head. Fourth ring, other video head. Fifth and sixth ring are the hi-fi heads. So I have this in the continuity range. And so there's one common lead. And so as you can see, this is one of the outer rings right here. 3 ohms, 2 ohms, 2 ohms, 2 ohms. Then we get over to here. Two ohms, and open. I get nothing. Absolutely nothing on those two terminals. So if I follow that wire, it goes back into the first ring and possibly the second ring. I'm not sure. I don't have an actual microscope to look at these things. But you can see there's two terminals on the common, one terminal there, one terminal there. Let me zoom in with the camera. So there you can see the commons, one right there, one right there, one hot lead right there, and the other hot lead is right there. So if I measure ohms from the commons to this hot lead, I get continuity, but to this hot lead, I get nothing. It's open. The rotary transformer is bad. Is it just right here that's the problem? I don't see an open anywhere. It appears to be connected. So we're going to have to change the lower drum assembly to get this unit back up and running 100%. Everything else is working perfect. I just need to put a new lower drum assembly back into this unit. So I do happen to have another lower drum assembly. This is it right here. So let's do the same test from the common. So I get 1 ohm and continuity there, and 1 ohm and continuity there. So without a shadow of a doubt, we have a bad lower drum rotary transformer. Gotta tear this thing completely apart once again to get this thing back up and running. Well, I wanted to find out where the defect actually was. And there it is, right there. There's the broken lead. Oh, if I could only solder that little wire back into place. Look at that. That's broken. The common. Right under here. That is the problem. There's the other end right there. You just see the tip of it sticking out there. Right there. Nope, there's no fixing that. At least not in this universe. Unless I can pick this lead up, lay it over the top of the rest of them. It's the third one. Right there you can see as I move it. It's broken right there. All right, well, another hour of labor. I have no clue what happened to this thing. This wire right there, it looks burnt. You see that? Wow. There's the other end of it right there. That's absolutely amazing. And I thought I destroyed the head using a cotton swab, but nope, not the case. All right, folks, so I have the mechanism off of the circuit board. And so if you don't have good soldering skills, do not attempt this at home, because you've got to remove this lead from the circuit board. And I think it's got 12 pins. These are pretty easy to do. You can just pick them up one at a time. So there's, what, 5 here, 8 here, 2 here. Pretty easy. This is the tough one. So what I do is I lay down like 3 blobs of solder on the board, and I try to sweep back and forth to heat everything up and lift this off of the circuit board. And so you can see the pins on this are actually still pristine. I haven't bent any of them. They'll go right down on there when I put this thing back together. So next, I just need to go ahead, remove these 3 screws, and replace it with the replacement drum assembly that I have right here, ready to go. I noted that one's okay as of today, 10 of 2022. I did continuity checks, everything's good. That's the lower drum assembly that's going to be going back into this unit. All right, well, there is the defective lower drum assembly out. New lower drum is installed. Let's put this thing back together now and give it a test. So this is the capstan and cylinder motor connector. Make sure if you remove this that you verify there are no shorts lead to lead. So I can see white between every single lead. I'm perfectly happy with that. This is the audio control erase head. No shorts lead to lead. Very good. And then this is the head amplifier connector. No shorts lead to lead. Very good with that. And then last but not least, maybe least, is the full erase head. Make sure you solder that back down, otherwise you'll get a rainbow distortion in playback if you record a VHS tape. Okay, time for reassembly. Okay, all back together. Let's pop a tape into it. And yes, look at that. It's actually playing. Previously, I had a very snowy picture because one head was out because of the open rotary transformer. So that's looking great. So let's go ahead and stop that. I'm going to switch it to DVD. And I'll open the drawer. I'm going to pop a blank DVD into the unit. And we'll see if it reads the table of contents and says it is a -R DVD. And yes, it knows it is a -R DVD. So I'm going to go ahead and do some basic setup on this unit, set the date and time, and we'll do a VHS to DVD transfer. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and set the record to 1 hour. No, I screwed up and hit dubbing before I did this. So now we have it set at 1 hour. So I'll hit the dubbing button once again, and here we go. So we'll come back and check in on this thing in about an hour and see how it does. Okay, just waiting for this thing to finish up. It has 0 minutes left. Then we will write the data to the disk and then finalize the disk. Okay, it's finished recording, so it's going to write some data and then we will finalize the disk. Okay, well, according to this, it did finish finalizing the disk. So I'm going to go ahead and open the drawer, take the disk out, close the drawer, and we'll see if we can read the table of contents. So it should have 2 tracks on this disk. The one where I screwed up and recorded in 2.5 hour mode, and then the second track in the 1 hour mode. And it does. 2 tracks. 26 seconds on the first one that I messed up on, and then 1 hour, 4 minutes, and 51 seconds on the second one. Let's go ahead and hit play. And there it is, playing back perfectly. And I do hear audio, so that's a good thing. Anyhow, I think that's going to be it. The repair. The convoluted repair on the Magnavox ZV457MG9A. Mode select switch, least of my worries. Had the bad lower drum assembly with the open rotary transformer. Go ahead and leave me a question, a comment, a concern down below, good or bad. I try to respond to the comments when I have time. And while you're done there, please hit that subscribe button and like this video. It does help my channel grow, and it helps YouTube recommend my channel to other consumers like yourself. You can follow me on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at NorCal715. You can email me, NorCal715videos@gmail.com. That is the best way to contact me. Please be patient. I have a full-time job, and I do these repairs in my spare time. Remember, with your help, we can try to keep these things out of the landfill, out of the recycle bin, and out of the e-waste facility. Everyone, thank you for making it to the end of this video. I know it was a long one. I really do appreciate it. Everyone, have a great day. Thank you so much for watching once again. Stand by for possible bloopers. And all function stopped. Other times, the unit will display power for a few seconds and then shut off again. Select VHS and believe you to be the correct. And I get nothing. Watch the load select mode, the load and the component. And then 4 screws, DVD player comes out, unplug these 2 connectors, and in the case of a 457, let's take that again, because I don't want to get, let's turn on autofocus, and then just to redistribute that grease around, and this post goes actually through the mode select switch itself, the gear. Tape guide. It's going to get replaced with a Nichicon 4700 6.3. Focus, you fuck. And it is a 105 degrees Celsius cap. And it's going to get replaced with a Nichicon 4700 microfarad 6.3 volt cap. And it is a 105 degree. Really? Right now? Autofocus? Seriously. Can we get focus on this? Yes. And I think it's got 12 connectors. And we'll do a DVD. Okay, here we go. I'm going to hit the dubbing button and we'll see what happens. Let's take that again because I didn't set the speed.